Well, welcome to Bridlington Beach. It's one fine day amongst a week of rain showers, so I thought this would be the best time to come down and demonstrate what I've got, which is a cook kit basically for the beach. Now it's made of three main parts. The main part in the centre is a Pathfinder bottle carrier. Inside this, it's built for a water bottle, but it includes a front pouch and some molly straps, the front, the side and the back, so it makes a great centre point for this little kit. Inside there, I'll show you what I have. This is the main part of the kit. We have a gas canister, and inside that we have our main cook kit, which might be no surprise to many people. We have a 2-cup Stanley cook set. Now this comes with 2 cups inside normally. It's got a lid. Gradation markings on the side there for boiling water or soup. Inside we have some paper there. We have some powdered milk for tea, tea bags of course, a lighter and a spoon for the tea making, and one of the cups. The other cup I don't use. So that on itself is a great cooking implement. It's a huge size, like I said, for soup or for tea. For me and my wife, it's fantastic. That's the main part of the cook set, and the main tea making part of the cook set. It nestles inside this cup, which is based on, I think it's not an original, Oasis camping cup. It's huge. It's got a pint of water in there. It's got folding arms, steel again, so even this I can put onto the burner and to heat or even cook in. And this nestles beautifully inside the Stanley set. It's absolutely brilliant, as if they were made for each other. There's a lid also with drain holes on, which is very, very nice. I've used that a couple of times. So that's the main part of the set. What else is there in here? Well, in the side pouch we have here a second pouch. These are basically, it's an accessories pouch. There's all kinds of things in here for cooking. We have got just a tin opener, a knife, another lighter, and then the actual stove itself, which clips onto the burner there. It folds up. It's nice and compact. You can get smaller ones, more compact ones, but this is what I've had. I've had this for years, so I'm not going to ditch it just because of weight saving. It's perfect for what I need. Put these to one side, and next here, attached to the side of the Pathfinder kit, I have 2 British Army PLCE utility pouches. These are personal load carrying equipment pouches, the new style used on British Army equipment, and they are huge, so they carry a lot of stuff. They don't really work with the molly on here, so I've had to improvise fastening systems, but that works fine. And in the first one on this side here, the right hand side, I carry a water bottle, so that's a 2-pint bottle of water. That's enough for plenty of tea, also for cooking as well, so it's big enough for both. Underneath, of course, we've got a couple of pan scrubs for afterwards. The other PLC utility pouch holds the food. This is the food pouch, and of course it doesn't just come with the food. The pouch comes with British Army mess tins. These are fantastic. I've used a few different mess tins from a few different countries, but I keep coming back to these, not just because I'm British, but because they just work really, really well. There's a larger one, rectangular, there, with a folding handle, and then inside there's a smaller one with a folding handle. This is where I keep the food. That goes on top. It's a food container as well as a cook pan. And today we're having pita bread. We're having some cucumber, tomatoes and spring onions for salad, and we're having a packet meal. Now this, I don't know if you can see that, sumptuous squash risotto. It's a bit like an MRE, I suppose, from the supermarket, pre-cooked, sealed in a packet so it's light to carry. It fits in the pans really well. This one, squash risotto with borlotti beans, thyme and Parmigiano Reggiano, so cheese. It looks delicious. I don't know if it will be, but it only requires heating up for about a minute before this is ready. So we have this, some salad, some pita bread, and then we'll have plenty of tea to go with that. All fits in the huge tins. I mean, the US tins are good, but they don't have the capacity to hold a lot of food inside. So these do double duty. I have a small piece of mesh there. This goes on top of the burner because the Stanley Cup Set particularly isn't very wide, so it needs a bit of balancing. So that's for the Stanley Cup Set. And finally, almost finally, I have a wind screen just to protect the burner from any breeze, which cuts down cooking time and keeps things really efficient. So that'll go around the burner just before we start cooking. And finally, the last part, really, all it is a small survival kit. There's some fire lighters, there's some headache tablets, paracetamol, there's a torch, there's another lighter. There's not a lot in there, but you can see it just holds enough for emergency things there. And that's basically the cook set. Oh, inside the pouch, there's some great molly straps for 2 sets of cutlery as well. Camping cutlery, very good. Slot straight in, one for me, one for my wife. Right, let's get it set up. Right, well, we're cooking. Well, I say cooking, we're heating up really. Yeah. And the salad's just been cut, chopped, the bread's ready. We'll have tea afterwards. So just warm this through, add the salad, and we should be okay. Right, with the tea nicely made, let's let it cool for a minute. Well, there's a couple of things I forgot to mention. The sling, because there's no sling with this, it's just a Pathfinder bottle carrier, although I don't use a water bottle in there. So I needed some kind of attachment system. So what I did is, I managed to buy a sling on eBay, and this is a AK-47 rifle sling with 2 clips there and there, so it matches beautifully what I already have available for hanging. It works really, really well, and it's sturdy, of course, being AK-47 sling, and it matches the general theme of the military pouches, so that's really nice. And then the other thing is my sort of side pouch, really. Now this this I use for taking just things to the beach, just like a book or whatever, a notebook. And it is I think it says Type 7 World War II British gas mask holder. Inside, if we get rid of the book, you might be able to see there, it does say J.H. & Co. 1941. Mark 7 there. And inside, it's compartmentalised. There was a lot more compartments in it, which I have cut out, which is a bit sacrilege, for all the different parts of the gas mask kit that you would carry with you. But they were sort of irrelevant to me, so they've gone to make a bigger space in the centre. And for this, again, I took off the webbing belt here. There was a webbing belt with it, made of the same kind of material. It doesn't look great, so I've replaced it with a leather strap, which I have fixed myself. I've riveted all the edges there. Now, I use this because it's the exact same bag used in the Indiana Jones movies by Harrison Ford. If you watch the first three films, he carries one of these around with him, and he puts I think he puts the stones in it from India, and he puts the idol in from the very opening scenes of Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. You can still see it's got the vent holes underneath, and his, of course, has a leather strap, so that's why mine's got a leather strap on. So there we go. That's why I have this, because it's like a famous bag, really. In the fourth film, which was the Crystal Skull, he carries around a bigger bag for the skull, and that's a Swiss 1970s army rucksack, which I also have, but that's complete coincidence. I also have one of those as well, which is pretty cool. You might think, why all the military stuff? Well, I like to carry things around that have some kind of provenance, really. I mean, I could just buy a bag from a camping shop or Amazon, eBay, and carry that around. The same with the mess tins. I could just buy something off the shelf. But really, as a reenactor, I like to use things that have some background, some provenance to them. So the gas mask, you know, you're carrying around a piece of history just when you're carrying it to the beach. The mess tins, you know, they're the same design of mess tins used by troops in the 1950s in Malaya, by British troops sat in trenches in Anzio, or in North Africa, or on the Normandy beaches. These are the same mess tins. So you sat there eating your food with some back history behind it, rather than just something designed by some 20-year-olds on a computer-aided design program in an office. I do have some other mess tins which I'll have to show you. I've got the American style mess tin, which I think has been superseded now. Was used all the way through World War II, Vietnam, right up to the 90s, till the 2000s, I believe. And I also have a Victorian D-shaped mess tin, which is really nice. And that was in use for more than 100 years, from the early 1800s all the way through to the First World War, past the First World War, into the late 30s, when it was replaced by the rectangular mess tins that you see me use today. So we'll have to get those out, set them all out and compare them and see what they're like. Now I'm back in the garden here with two of the mess tins I talked about, and I thought I'd show you the kind of food that I'm looking at. I can't get hold, well, I can get hold of military rations, that kind of thing, but they're quite expensive. But if you go to the supermarket in Britain, you can find sort of packet meals, pre-cooked. They're not full meals, but they do serve the same purpose. John West do a nice range here. So we've got tuna with wild rice and lentils in a sort of curry sauce. There's salmon with giant couscous and lentils. That's spicy. That looks nice. This is delicious, this one. It's wild rice and lentils with salmon, honey and ginger. Absolutely delicious there. There's pre-cooked rice, Tilda. Also Uncle Ben's do pre-cooked rice. He normally says to microwave all these packets, but stir-frying them at the beach or over a stove is perfect. Really. Yeah, Tilda lime and coriander. It's all kinds of different flavours of rice as well, so it's not just your own plain boiled rice. That's we've got here? These are Jamie Oliver's chickpeas, so curried chickpeas, lentils, brown rice, Indian spices and lemon. Very good. Probably don't look as good as that when you actually cook it. And super tomato, what's this? A tomato and olive quinoa, brown rice, kibbled wheat and fennel. Yeah, it looks nice. All of these things I suppose could be made a little bit better with some sausage or chorizo, something like that. Hind do these beans, which are pre-cooked beans. This one's smoky pepper and onion. So beans, but with a nice twist. So it's not just beans on its own. And then Merchant Gourmet, I think this is Morrison's. Pesto, Italian infused grains. And then smoky Spanish style grains. So there, you can see that they look quite nice. So yeah, they're tasty and they fill in, and you add something to them, they're going to be alright, those. So that's the kind of thing that I'm going to be taking down. Single meal, fantastic. There's another packaged meal that I found at Tesco. These are lentils, but sort of ground with sauces. We've got Mexican style lentils with spices. There's a lentil bolognese, so that'd be good to go with a packet of rice mixed together, with a tomato ragu, and then tomato lentils. Very nice. With mixed beans or peas in there as well. Tomato, carrot, spring onions and shallots. So not bad. Good with rice though, I think these. Right, these are the two mess tins I was talking about earlier. This one is a US pattern, the same pattern from the 1940s right through to 90s, I believe. And this one particularly is dated 1967, so this is Vietnam era. I believe it's aluminium. And then the other one, this is an original. This one is a replica of a 19th century Victorian mess tin for the British Army, the Commonwealth armies, used all around the world in deserts, mountains, jungles, wherever the British Army went. Unchanged from about 1813, 1814 all the way through to the late 30s. So this had a massive period of use, probably one of the longest ever, except for the Roman Army Sitular mess tin. We'll start with this one. It's a really nice replica. It's got a wire handle and hinges there, and it's got a small loop at the front and the back, and that is, there we go, sorry, there we go, that's to attach to British Commonwealth Army webbing in the 1800s. Let's take a look here. The first part is a frying pan, which is really nice. It's a kidney shaped frying pan with a handle there. So great use over a fire, frying meat, corned beef, vegetables, anything really. It's really nice, that. Inside there is a second pan with a circular handle. I'm not sure what the circular handle is for exactly, why circular. This was only used in the 19th century, and as we got to the First World War, I think this whole pan was dispensed with as a bit superfluous, extra weight. But it means you can be cooking several things at once here, 3 things simultaneously. You can be frying food, boiling water, cooking something in there as well. It's very good. So it's really quite a versatile kit, this. And then the big one here, great. And you've got corned beef in there, you got bully beef, mashed potato, vegetables, stew, soup, all go in there. It's really deep. It's going to hold a lot of food, that. This is a one-man mess tin. It's really versatile, with a frying pan, the deep pan and the second pan as well. I've not tried these out. Modern manufacture, and they're Indian made, so I would not use them regularly. It's something 3 or 4 times a year, but they look fantastic. I can't wait to use them. Now, I'm not sure about the official use of cutlery in the British Army in the Victorian period. So I have Victorian. A friend of mine's given me some old early 20th century or 19th century cutlery, bone handled, pretty generic stuff there, which we can take with us. I'm sure this is all period stuff. The American mess tin is ingenious, I'll say that, but for a very good reason. I don't tend to use it very much. The arm flips open and you get there, again, it's a frying pan style. So just like the Victorian mess tin and the British mess tin, you have a frying pan with a long handle there. So you can see I've used it extensively, testing it out. But it's a great, that's really, as a frying pan, fantastic use there. So great over the fire. The second layer there is more of a plate, a serving plate. So here you can't have it on the fire, there's no handle. There's two dishes there for different things. So this kit here is, I mean, this could be used in the field over a fire or a small stove to cook and then eat food and use this as a bowl. But this it becomes a bit superfluous and ends up being really like a lid, to be honest. I don't tend to use it because I like to pack the food in the mess tin, and with this here, there's not a lot of food you can pack in there, really. It's quite shallow, so that's the reason I don't tend to use it much anymore, because I like the tin itself to be the carrier of the food, and then the waste when we leave the beach or the campsite. But what I think this is mainly used for in the 1940s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s is at a field kitchen. This is what this I think is designed for. So you go along the chow line, and you can tell it's designed for that because those two fit together like that. So now you can walk along like a school cafeteria. You get a slop of mashed potato in there, you get a load of stew. In the small dishes you might get carrots, you might get cabbage. You take it back, sit down with your mates and eat a lot up. That's what that I think is for. It's for a field kitchen, really. It's back at base, and when you finish, there's a lovely little innovation there, which you see a lot talked about on the internet, which is that it's got a loop here. Now I haven't got cutlery for this period, but the cutlery comes in a little leather pouch, and the cutlery on the end, if we take this Victorian piece here, all the cutlery has a hole there. There's a loop, just like this. And what you do is slides over there, over the handle, like that. So we're holding it there. And the cutlery slides on there as well. And then once you've been down the chow line, you've got your food, you've sat down, you've eaten your food, at the end of the line there is it'd be a huge drum of boiling water, and you would walk along and you would dunk this into the boiling water, swirl it around, take it out, and it's clean all your dishes for you. So it saves each man having to manhandle his own dishes and get cloths and hot water. It's all done like a production line. There was the Americans, they had one more piece of equipment. Just put this back where it belonged. There's one more piece of equipment the Americans had. They had a canteen, a water canteen, water bottle, and it came in a little metal case like this, a cup. So the canteen sits in a little cup like this, a canteen carrier, and this could be taken out and you could use this for boiling water or just for drinking from, like a drinking cup. So that also, this isn't one, this is the Victorian one, but that also had a loop on, and that fitted onto this handle as well. That went into the water as well. So it's really ingenious design, but I find it limiting as a camping piece of equipment. But great as a saucepan, but as a whole unit, you're limited. I mean, boiling water is difficult to do there with just this. You'd need the American version of this, the canteen cup as well, I think. So they're the two mess tins. I've also got a Roman mess tin, which is very nice, not sophisticated unfortunately, and the American mess tin there. Okay, as the last part of our look at military cooking equipment, I thought it would be quite a good idea to have a look at where it all started with the Romans. And here we've got a pretty comprehensive collection, starting with the situla, which is a Roman cookpot. This one I've not used yet, still very clean, but good for several soldiers to share food or for boiling water. It's really deep. It's like a traditional British prehistoric Iron Age clay cookpot, just done in brass. This one's tinned for safety. These were seen on Trajan's column, on the carvings of soldiers marching into war with their packs, the satchels. On it they had a net bag with perhaps food in. They had a situla like this, you could see it's hanging from the pack, and also you could see the patera hanging from the pack as well. So these are quite a good replica of those. So there's this, the situla, really useful, deep and versatile, but the most common cooking implement used by the army, and obviously I've used this extensively, is a patera. Every Roman museum in Britain has loads of these, iron ones, brass ones. They're everywhere. This one's quite finely decorated there. Some are very plain, some are larger, some a bit smaller. A lot of them have these circles on the bottom there, the circular pattern, and they make a great saucepan. So cook food in these over the fire, and then it's a one-man mess tin basically. So you would then sit and you would get a spoon and you would eat from here, and then you clean it out and it becomes just a drinking cup. You can drink wine, beer, water from there. So it's a three-way mess tin. Very simple, no folding parts, but really well used over many centuries, this one. Because they were so useful for every man had one. They often in museums you see them with their soldier's name carved or scratched into the handle there. Sometimes they're scratched on the front there, and that's because once you've lost it, they often got stolen. So go and steal somebody else's, because it's something you can't really live without. The loop at the end is quite a useful feature for hanging from the pack, from the marching pack, which is really useful. So that's the thing you use the most. You can cook one good solid meal in there. Lentils with a bit of bacon, olive oil, you just put a bit of apple, maybe a bit of garlic, fry that all up. Delicious meal there, really good, really versatile. Now this I use a lot when I'm re-enacting, but it's not technically a army issue. It's not really found on Roman military sites very much. This is a folding frying pan. I forget the name of this. It's really, it reminds me of the American World War II version, with a folding handle and a collar that slides down. And you have a fantastic huge frying pan. We use this for frying meats, basically meats, mushrooms. Great breakfast you can do with this, sausages. So you've got a lip at the end for pouring out liquids, and even it's got the loop again at the end for hanging from a wall. These are generally found on civilian sites, and so they think it was like a travelling pan, travelling saucepan. So it can slide into a bag or a rucksack or something like that, saddle bag. It's a travelling pan. Not used in military context very often, but it's great. It folds up, it goes into the satchel really well. It's a fantastic piece of kit, my favourite. And I'll probably use these two, the patera and the frying pan, more than anything else. We'll see how much use I get out of this. And for drinking, I mean, patera is used for drinking, but on the camp, chances are it's going to be something like a wooden cup or a bone cup. This is a sorry, horn cup. This is a cow horn cup. Good for marching because it gets knocked and banged. It tends not to break. I mean, it can crack at the bottom there. The base can come off, but generally it's quite a sturdy little thing. So use that as a cup. It's great for camping. More Roman is the Roman drinking cup, but of course it's great in the garrison, in the fort. Drinking wine from that, it's a real pleasure. But taking it out in the satchel on a march, you're just going to get broken quite easily. That. But this is my favourite, sitting around the campfire drinking cup, that, and that would be in a satchel at all times. You can stuff it, all kinds of things in there, so it doesn't take up so much space. And there we go. That's the Roman mess tins.